sport, but on fights. So by being a fighter and having more fights, you move up in your rank in the class and your superiority, you still show that respect. And if you've ever watched a fight, you will see the guys afterwards show each other a great deal of respect. So, no, that element is definitely there in mixed martial arts. You can't tell me it doesn't require discipline, because this is the sport that I think requires more discipline than any other sport, because there is so much you have to do. Your boxing, your wrestling, your jiu-jitsu, your conditioning, your strength training. You cannot do all that every week in, week out, and not have discipline. The respect comes from understanding what you put your body through, what your opponent puts your body through, and you have to respect what they do because you're doing it yourself and you know. So even if they don't train in those traditional sports or arts, you still develop that respect, that discipline, that the traditional arts, but you're not forced upon you, it's built into you because that's what this sport incorporates.
All right, last question. This is not an easy one for me to say. I'll just get rid of that. Okay, you're coming now, and this is with all due respect, of course.
Absolutely.
You're coming now from quite a big losing streak, right? I'm not sure exactly, but I just know because you find top guys, sometimes you don't win, it's the way it is. My question is, now coming from a big losing streak against top guys, obviously not against amateur guys, what are you doing to change that for this UFC fight?
Okay, well that's good. I mean, as you mentioned, I think it's only a 2-fight losing streak out of one. I understand.
It's a hard question to ask.
Yeah, no, I understand. And you are correct. You know, I faced some of the greatest fighters on the planet. You know, about half a dozen world champions, and they're hard matches. And I do tend to get thrown in the deep end when I fight because the promoters, the UFC, know that I come to fight, and I think they really appreciate that. I have the skills and the ability to win. I may not do that all the time against some of the best guys, but I'm always a danger. I guess my Bisping fight, my last UFC fight, was a great example. Though I lost the fight, I knocked him down. Apparently I just heard that when it's cold, his arm's still sore. So that Kimura was almost on. So I have the ability to end a fight. But as you said, you know, I'm always working to improve. I never stop training, even when I'm not in fight training. I have fighters who are training, so I'm always preparing. I'm always trying to stay in touch with what the rest of the world is doing. I keep up on the internet and with videos and DVDs, you know, what training's out there, what skills are doing. And then for my own personal preparation, I'm looking at doing a training camp. I'll be heading overseas in the lead up to this fight. Because I'm having a look at a couple of camps. At this point in time, I'm looking at Thailand for a couple of weeks because I really want to refine my striking and knees. Then I'm heading over to the US. I'll do a little bit of time with Carlos and Dallas to just work on my grappling. So kind of work on the two individual areas separately, and then move up to Vegas where I'm going to finish off and peak up my training. And having a look at, you know, either Vanderlei's gym, Extreme Couture. At this point, I haven't settled on exactly where I'm going to be training in Vegas. It kind of comes down to who offers, you know, good training partners, good training opportunities, and just use that time to put everything together that I've been putting. So when I come into this fight, I come in the best physical and mental conditions, both with my skills and abilities.
I've got a really quick one because we're going to probably run out of time soon. Last question is, in Australia, we generally speaking, it's different to the US because, say for example, like Randy Couture would cross-train with Tim Sylvia, who'd cross-train with Vitor Belfort, and some of these guys fight each other, right? In Australia, we don't seem to have teams training with each other, for example, in the heavyweights. I mean, obviously, you guys are competitors, you know, like Elite, Elite, Penrith Elite, we've got, you know, all the Melbourne teams, we've got the Lions Den, we've got, you know, Snossi Parash, we've got VT1 Gym. You know, we've got Anthony Lang, we've got Integrated, all those teams, but don't seem to train with each other. Do you think that really affects our performance overseas because we're not actually putting our best together?
I think that is one of the problems because basically very few gyms have multiple world-class training partners. I'm very lucky that my business and training partner, He's a world-class fighter. He's fought in the UFC as well as, you know, competed in many world-class submission wrestling and jiu-jitsu competitions. But even still, that's just one person, though we have many great students in the gym. You're always got to find ways to improve your training. And I think because a lot of it is actually reflected by the traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu culture, where you fight for one team, you represent that team, you don't cross-train with another team. Whereas the Americans come from the wrestling culture, whereas you just go and wrestle wherever you want, and then if you fight up on you end up on the mat competing each other, so be it.
Do we need to break that down, do you think?
You've either got to break that barrier down, or we've just got to build up the level so each team has more world-class opponents. Maybe, you know, a couple of teams need to work together, like, you know, merge a couple of teams so we have a couple of big teams. You can still then have your separate camps, so you're not fighting. The big problem here is because there is so few shows that most of the guys are going to end up fighting each other. It's very hard to train with the guy one day and then get in there and fight against him the next. It does happen, but overseas it doesn't happen a lot because there are so many different world-class gyms. And I think once we build up a bigger base, so we have a couple of world-class gyms, we have a good number of professional and world-class fighters, it won't be so much of an issue. But once again, that comes down to time.
Man, we're going to have to cut this short because I have 1,000 questions, he has 1,000 answers. Maybe we'll get another longer interview at a different date. But thank you, Elvis. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Infinite. You know, I always pop onto the forum and check out what's going on. So thank you for all your support. Thank you to my sponsors, LoJack, Fightwear International, and Fairtex for continuing to support me. Thank you to all the guys at SPMA in my gym. And most importantly, thank you to the fans. It's because of you guys I'm coming back.